Let's start with the basics. India and Pakistan, two neighboring countries in South Asia, are once again in the global spotlight because of a sudden outbreak of violence. Reports say that India has carried out a military strike against Pakistan, describing it as a retaliation. What does that mean? Simply put, something happened that led India to respond with force. This isn't the first time these two countries have clashed, but every time it happens, it grabs attention, not just in their own countries, but all around the world. To understand why this matters so much, it helps to look at the long history between India and Pakistan. Both countries became independent from British rule in 1947. Almost immediately, disagreements over territory, especially the region of Kashmir, sparked conflict. There have been several wars and many smaller clashes since then. Think of two neighbors who have had disputes for years. Sometimes things are calm, but old tensions can quickly flare up. Kashmir is often at the center of these disputes. It's a region claimed by both countries and has seen decades of unrest. Over the years, both sides have accused each other of supporting violence in the area. These accusations fuel mistrust and make it hard to find lasting peace. So, what set off this latest round? According to the reports available, there was an incident, possibly an attack or some form of provocation, that India says came from Pakistan's side. In response, India launched a military strike. The details of exactly what happened can sometimes be hard to confirm right away, especially when both sides tell different stories. But the sequence is clear: a trigger, followed by retaliation. Retaliation is a word we hear often in conflicts like this. It means one side feels they have been wronged or attacked and decide to hit back. In everyday life, it might look like someone responding to a shove with a shove of their own. But when countries are involved, especially those with powerful armies, the consequences can be much more serious. These events matter for many reasons. First, both India and Pakistan have large populations. Together, over 1.5 billion people live in these two countries. They also both have nuclear weapons. That's why the world pays close attention whenever tensions rise between them. Conflict between India and Pakistan doesn't just affect these two countries. It can disrupt trade, create uncertainty in financial markets, and pull in other countries who have alliances or interests in the region. For everyday people on both sides of the border, it can mean fear, loss of life, and disruption to daily life. Whenever these clashes occur, each side usually presents its own version of events. India often accuses Pakistan of supporting groups that carry out attacks inside India or in Kashmir, claims that Pakistan denies. Pakistan, on its part, says it is not responsible for such actions and often accuses India of violating its sovereignty when strikes occur. For people watching from outside, it can be confusing, almost like watching two neighbors argue across a fence, each insisting they are right and the other is wrong. Where does this go from here? That's always the big question after any escalation between India and Pakistan. Sometimes such incidents lead to days or weeks of heightened tension, with both sides increasing security along their shared border. Other times, international leaders or organizations step in, urging both countries to pull back and avoid further bloodshed. It's important to remember that both India and Pakistan have experienced war before but have also returned to dialogue after periods of tension. The hope for many around the world is that cooler heads will prevail and that both sides will find ways to de-escalate, meaning to reduce the danger and avoid further fighting. Events like this often draw quick reactions from other countries. Some may call for restraint, essentially asking both sides not to make things worse. Others offer to help mediate talks or provide humanitarian assistance if things get out of hand. International organizations like the United Nations sometimes step in with statements or even emergency meetings to address rising tensions between nuclear-armed neighbors. For most people living in India or Pakistan, or even those with family ties across the border, the main concern is safety and stability. When news breaks about military strikes or rising conflict, it can cause anxiety and uncertainty about what comes next. It's worth remembering that behind every headline are millions of ordinary people hoping for peace so they can go about their daily lives without fear. To sum up, tensions between India and Pakistan have flared again, leading to reports that India has launched a military strike against Pakistan as retaliation for an alleged provocation. The situation is serious because of the long history between these two neighbors and because both are major powers with nuclear capability. While details may still be emerging, and each side has its own story, the eyes of the world are now on South Asia, watching closely to see whether this conflict will escalate or if there will be steps towards easing the tension. No one can predict exactly what will happen next, but understanding the context helps us grasp why these moments matter, not just for India and Pakistan, but for everyone concerned about peace and stability around the world. We'll keep following developments as they unfold and bring you clear, factual updates so you can stay informed about this important issue.